If the windfall elimination provision applies to you, you might be sitting there thinking, hey, I worked this job, I deserve this money. I was both in Social Security and OPRS, and I deserve those paychecks in full. And I get it, but the two programs are completely different in their structure. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Oftentimes we see Americans jumping from job to job, and when they do, sometimes we cross from a Social Security paying job into a non-Social Security paying job. And when we do that, we complicate our retirement income. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about why the windfall elimination provision exists. And hopefully you've seen my previous video where I talk about what the windfall elimination provision is. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for a regular, pleasant financial conversation. So let's start with the non-Social Security covered job, those state employees, teachers, etc. In that type of retirement pension, you are paying about 10% of your income, maybe give or take, and your employer is paying a certain amount of income towards your retirement pension. And of course, there's a calculation done based on the number of years that you've been working your highest income, but you are paying directly into a program that builds a cash value over time. That is yours to keep. If you decide not to take the pension and cash out, you can do that. On the Social Security side, it's a little bit different of an animal because the Social Security program was created to be a social program that secures the American retirement. As a way to make sure that people don't go bankrupt and go into Medicaid, at least they have a certain amount of money to rely on as a pension in retirement. And so when it was constructed, it was created as a tax. So you pay part of the tax and your employer pays part of the tax. And it's created so that the lower income earning folks actually pack a bigger punch in matching their retirement income with their income that they received in their working years. They get about 90% of that first $900 or so. Now, I've made a video on how the actual primary insurance amount, that calculation of what your monthly income will be at your full retirement age, in a different video, and you can watch it here. But here's the big picture. The more income you earn, the less you get matched by Social Security. And so that's why it's a social program. It's helping lower income earning folks really match their retirement income. But those higher earning folks are going to have to be relying on other things because they don't get the same amount. It might be 40% of their income is actually matched by the Social Security. So if you think about it, if you've been working in two jobs, one that's paying into Social Security and one that's paying into OPERS, for example, your income is kind of reduced falsely because you might be a high earning individual, but you just haven't been paying into the program all of those years. And so when they make that primary insurance amount calculation, it's looking at 30 years of work history, and there's a big gap because you've been working in OPERS. And that's why the windfall elimination provision is there, because they don't want you to be able to capture a lot of the extra benefit that's there for low income earning folks just because you've switched from a non-paying job into the paying provision. It's a hard pill to swallow, and it's really confusing because we feel like they should match each other, but they're really meant to be two different types of programs, and that's why they don't play in the sandbox together. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Having those retirement income conversations are sticky, and it's hard to know which one you should claim at what time and how they offset each other. And that's where a pleasant financial conversation comes in play for you. So I'd love to have that conversation with you where we talk about what retirement income looks like for you based on the resources that you have today and the goals that you have for tomorrow. And you're welcome to reach out to me on my website, www.pleasantwealth.com, to set a meeting. And until next time, friends, you take care.